What is going on, guys? Jack here, and we are back here for episode 93 of the Charge to the Top. And well, as you can see, looking at the league table, we're near the top. We are having a fantastic little season here. Of course, last episode we took on Liverpool. If you missed that episode, go check it out. If you saw that episode, I think you can agree that that was a game that really stamped some title credentials on us. A 3-3 draw away from home, a really inspirational performance. A game which, if we're being completely honest, we probably could have won on another day. Since then, though, you can see we've played a fair few games against what you'd have to say is easier opposition for the most part, and well, we've come through this little test with flying colours. You can see the first game we had here against Crystal Palace, 2-0 victory, Kasongo and Price with the goals, a great little result there. The next game we had against Brighton, a 3-2 away win, another good little result, a game where, you know, we fought back from behind twice, which was great to see, and well, to get all 3 points once more was great, and well, Fred Harris getting man of the match, as you may have seen there, the South African. He is a player who he's getting a little bit of interest, if we're being honest, and it's a little bit concerning, the interest that he is garnering, because you can see here, 19 years old, fantastic striker, and if we look at the transfers, there is a few teams interested. I've asked for £100 million. I don't want to sell this guy. You can see 3 years left on his current contract with an optional 3-year extension clause. He essentially has a 6-year contract, so as far as we're concerned, we don't need to sell him, even if other clubs are interested. So we're in a good position there. Anyway, the next game we had against Newcastle was a decent little 3-1 win. You can see Marc Torres with 2 goals. Good to see the American continuing to perform well. Against Bournemouth, we won 4-0, another good little result. Again, Marc Torres with another few goals for us. 13 goals for this right winger in 17 games is just absolutely outstanding. He really has just been a top player for us so far this season. A player who, of course, had previous stints in the Premier League and didn't really perform, but he has found a place in our side. Anyway, in the FA Cup we won 1-0, which was a good little result, and in the most recent league game we took on Wolverhampton Wanderers and we won 2-0. So we are in January now. That does mean that there has been transfer business going on, but not perhaps the transfer business you might expect. We've made one signing. We've signed this guy, August Tass, a good little left-back, 21 years old, some potential to hopefully improve. Just really like the look of him as a good little backup option in the left-back area of the pitch. And well, in other news, we made a big sale, a very big sale, a sale that I didn't think I was going to make, but I decided to make it, and it was Christopher Pinheiro. He's left us, of course, an instrumental player in our system, the deep line playmaker, Mexican. But, well, an offer of £37 million. A very difficult deal to reject, considering this guy was signed just a year ago on a free transfer. To have a bid that large come in from Dortmund was difficult to reject. And, well, there's a few reasons I decided to sell him. The first one being, obviously, that does give us some nice little bit of money kind of to reinvest. You can see £200,000 of wage budget remaining, 18 million of transfer budget. We could, you know, readjust that if we wanted to get higher into the 20 millions in terms of transfer budget. So I am looking at a few potential transfer options. But, well, the other reason, I guess, to sell him that made kind of some sense, at least in my mind, was the fact that Valenzuela, the American, is a very good little deep line playmaker. And I feel like this guy can be a good player for us in this area of the pitch. Perhaps not the best creatively, but certainly as a deep line playmaker, I think he can excel. And we have, you know, got some other options. Nicolas Pintado, a player who has been on loan at Estudiantes last kind of season, and previous to that he was on loan at De Haag. He got a work permit, the Uruguayan, and I feel like this guy is just another player who could be, you know, a really good kind of deep line playmaking option for us. You can see he's a player who's improving a lot, a wonder kid, 20 years old, playing regularly for Uruguay, and I feel like this is going to open up a spot for this guy who was out on loan to come in and hopefully develop into a good little deep line playmaker for us. Anyway, if you were paying attention, you would have seen that, well, it's the time of the season that I knew was going to be the toughest. It's African Cup of Nations. So the likes of Kasongo are out, Silla's out, Hamdi's out, Jaziri, another player who's probably worth a mention. This guy has got a work permit, which is great. A player who I've wanted to get a work permit for a little while, the Tunisian. And, well, he's currently on the African Cup of Nations. But you can see for the last 3 years, he's been playing at Atletico Nacional. This last season just gone, a 7.79 average rating for a goalkeeper with 14 clean sheets. This guy is going to be our first choice goalkeeper when he comes back. I'm really excited to have him back as well. He's been a player who I've been monitoring very carefully when he's been out on loan, and you can see when we compare him to Manion, there's not a huge difference between them, but Jaziri, only 21 years old, so many years ahead of him, and I think he could be a great long-term goalkeeping option, this guy, so I'm really excited about him. But as well as the African players that I previously mentioned, you'll notice some other players out on international duty, and that is because well, Choi Min-ki and Cameron Bowman, perhaps most importantly, are both away at the moment at the Asia Cup. I didn't really consider the fact that that was a thing that would be clashing with the African Cup of Nations. I don't feel like I've ever felt so glad to have a squad of kind of almost, I think, 35 players, or certainly coming up to that. Because you can see when we look at it here, we are missing basically 9 first-team players who would play very frequently for us if they were fit. Perhaps there's a few players who are exceptions to that, the likes of Ibrahim Goma, who's a youngster still developing, although with that goal-scoring record, perhaps I could cash in on him in the not-so-distant future. And also Matthew Ross, who joined us on a free transfer earlier on this season. 2 players who are perhaps on the fringes of the first team, but still going to be misses going out. And it does mean that our squad is kind of not necessarily down to the bare bones, but we are, having to plug a few gaps in our side. Well, we've not been impacted too badly from the kind of African Cup of Nations so far, so I'm hoping that it's not going to be a big issue for us, but it's certainly something to be aware of as a potential factor that could impact our performances. It does mean, particularly in the attacking third, we're a little bit short. You can see when it comes to kind of strikers, it's definitely the area we've been hit hardest. Fred Harris is away on international duty, Silla's away, Gasongo's away, Cameron Bowman's away, Goma's away too. So basically we are missing 5 first-team strikers. That does also have a little bit of a knock-on effect into the kind of wide midfielder areas. Although it'd be fair to say that the likes of Miguel Alarcon here are going to get a good little run out. The Chilean, he plays out on the left. I'm not sure why he's on the right wing. He and Torres should be swapping over there. But we have got some good little kind of strength in depth here in terms of players we've been able to bring into the side. In order to remedy the striker situation, Juan Carlos Acuna is going to play as our striker today. You may have noticed when you looked at our fixtures, we've got some tricky games coming up, and this is a bit of a concern for me because today we take on Manchester United, which I'm going to live com. Next episode we take on Chelsea and Arsenal. That's going to be a live com double header because those are 2 big games, particularly with us now in second, which is fantastic and challenging for Europe. These next 3 games could really define our season. I guess the big concern for me is that these 3 games against these massive, massive sides come at a time where we are going to be lacking first-team players, and it's going to, I think, impact us very negatively. In some ways, the cynical part of me is hoping that some of our players get knocked out the African Cup of Nations quite quickly, so they're ready for selection once more. But, well, we've got to deal with the hand that we've got. In terms of the team for today's game, it's going to be Mannion in goal. Agus, the new man on the block, he's going to come in at left back because Diatta is away on international duty. At right back, we, of course, go with O'Neill. Through the centre, fairly standard, we've got Ali and Morales. Deep line playmaker, big day for Valenzuela to show us what he's made of. Slightly ahead of him, we've of course got Lustau, the Argentine, continuing to improve this guy. Still really excited about him, still staying fit as well. Although, still yet to make an appearance for the Argentine national first team. I do not know what the Argentine national manager is thinking. Anyway, centre attacking mid, we're going to go with Jonathan Chan. To his left, it's going to be Mark Torres. Eric Torres, of course, the Mexican wonderkid of FM's past. But yeah, this guy, just a big performer for us out on the right wing. Today's going to be a bit of an interesting test to, I guess, see how he performs as an inside forward. Out on the right, we're going to go with Miguel Alarcon. And, playing up top for today's game, we are going to go with Juan Carlos Acuna, hoping that he can have a good little performance in the strikering area. On the bench, we've got some options. We've got the likes of, actually, Diatta, not on international duty because of his injury. I guess that's fortunate. Unfortunately, you can see, look at his condition, not going to be ready. Not sure why I assumed he was just away on international duty because he's not. I do want to quickly actually sort out this bench because there's some players here who should probably be on the bench who aren't. You'll notice Akasu missing out on international duty with the Ivory Coast. A little bit harsh on him, but I mean, their loss, I guess, is our gain in a lot of ways. In terms of other options, you can see we just don't have the attacking options, unfortunately, to field a load of attackers on the bench. So we're going to be looking at, Osvaldo, Riquelme, Jamie Price. And really, they're going to be our goal-scoring options. Of course, Jamie Price, the Welsh player, a player who I feel like we can call upon. Riquelme, on the other hand, a player who he's had a good little start to his time at the club. And actually, in some ways, I'm tempted to start this guy today. He's been playing very, very well for us, the Chilean. And, he could be a player who could have, a good performance for us. I am going to play him, actually. I've changed my mind here. So we're going to bring in Riquelme for Alarcon and actually play Torres traditionally kind of in his wide midfielder role. Riquelme in the last few games has really impressed me. You can see 1 goal and 1 assist in his last 3 Premier League games since he started playing for us. And, we're going to give him the nod again today. Anyway, looking at the kind of going into this game, we're taking on Manchester United, who are down in 4th. We are the favourites for this game. I feel like that is a testament to not just our form, but our actual squad strength. We have a good little team here. It's worth noting, last time we played Manchester United, we lost 5-0. So I want a little bit of redemption if we can have it today. You can see Zivkovic going to be their key player, the Serbian, a very, very terrifying player indeed. You can see they're missing a few players. They're also missing Sander Diziu, who is a player who I actually eyed up a while ago on FM. He started his career at Bristol. He went to Middlesbrough. And when we were in League One, I noticed this guy playing in the Championship, and he looked amazing then. So it's kind of interesting now to see him tearing it up for Manchester United. But he is injured, so that's going to play into our hands. And yeah, you can see one of the best defences in the league in Manchester United goes up against one of the most potent attacking teams. And while I'm hoping that it's not going to be a boring 0-0 draw, you know, kind of the immovable force versus the unstoppable object, I'm hoping that we can have a good little performance here. Anyway, we owe Manchester United after that last game we played against them, looking to motivate the players going into this game. We were humiliated by them previously. That's the only way to phrase it. A 5-0 defeat. I didn't look at their team. If we just have a quick look at it quickly, number of regens really at this point, but they have got Paul Pogba. They're playing Martial with an injury. Harry Kane playing as well, and well, Koric, the Croatian, also playing. So a few regens at the back, but well, a quite old strike force, an attacking kind of threat, I guess you'd say. We've got quite quick players, so that might play into our hands a little bit. You know, those players, they're not going to be the most fast, given their age, and well, hopefully we can capitalise on that. I guess the early signs in this game are fairly positive for us. It's 0-0. Considering we lost 5-0 last time we met, it's good to see us kind of at least remaining competitive for now, although Martial carrying a knock is going to be on the prowl here. O'Neill intercepts. Of course, O'Neill not got the best discipline in the world. He's got to be a good boy today, and well, this could be a gift. Torres, he squeezes it in. Take a bow. It's a gift. I don't know what their goalkeeper's done, but, well, we'll take it. It came to the edge of the area. He should have dealt with it better. He didn't deal with it at all. And, well, ultimately, we get a goal that puts our noses ahead in this game. You'd have to say on the balance of play, it's been very tight so far. 1/2 chance for both teams. United have edged possession, but, well, just nothing to separate it. And, well, what has separated this game ultimately here in the 35th minute is a goalkeeping howler. That is the only way it can be phrased. And, well, it's looking like a pretty smart decision, I guess, to put Marc Torres out on the right-hand side. Of course, I was about to play him down the left. Decided to bring Riquelme into the side. And, well, in a twist of fate here, we get the ball. And I've seen chances missed from this kind of angle. It's not a given that that's going to find the back of the net, but he tucks it away well. In the end, the goalkeeper kind of came out and panicked a little bit. Didn't want to handle it outside of his area. And, well, Torres was just alive to the threat and ready to jump on it. And, well, what more could you ask for? We're a goal up here against Manchester United. Exactly what we want to do. I said at the start of this season, you know, European football really the goal. You know, to try and get that kind of top 5 finish. That was always going to be kind of where we wanted to be. And, well, for us to be as high as we are right now is certainly a surprise. But when you look at the way we've been playing, when you look at the quality of the players we've managed to bring in, I don't feel like it's all that surprising. We have a young, plucky group of players who, you know, despite having a few key players for us, the likes of Silla, Kasongo, Cameron Bowman, all out injured, even Choi Min-ki, I guess, to an extent, we have proven ourselves, I guess, as a side here to be capable, and certainly in the first half, of going toe-to-toe with Manchester United. I don't want to get too ahead of myself here, but, well, it's looking fairly good so far. Both teams having chances. You'd have to say it's not been the most thrilling kind of attacking game of football, although given the fact we are the top goal scorers in the league and United have the best defence, that might not be surprising. Riquelme here, whipping it in. Paul Pogba deals with it. Perhaps a counter-attack on the cards as Rafael Rodrigo has it. Now with Zivkovic inside to Koric. He's going to play the ball forward. This is a bad situation to be in. Can we get a tackle in? He beats one man. He hits it. It was a tame effort in the end. Mannion collects with relative ease. And, well, 30 minutes left in this game. We remain on top. I'm going to make a change here. Valenzuela on a booking, a little bit of a concern. I'm going to bring in Gaia Casso for him. Elsewhere, you know, kind of look across the team as a whole, it's been fairly solid. Lustal having a really poor game by his standards, so I'm going to make a change. I'm going to bring in Pintado for him. We'll hold on to our last sub for now, although Acuna and Jonathan Chan, the two Mexicans in the final third, been really disappointing, you'd have to say, so far. Expected much more from them. And, well, they've been anything but kind of, what's the word, impressive, I guess, so far in this game. People are probably wondering at this point, Jack, why are you not switching on to defensive? Why are you not switching on to counter? The reason I'm not doing that is because United are not really creating anything in the way of clear-cut chances with our current system. And I feel like if we go defensive, if we start sitting deep, we're actually going to be inviting pressure onto ourselves. I'm going to make our last change now. I'm actually going to bring in Jamie Price. He's not very good as a complete forward, so we're going to switch him to the advanced forward on his own. But the Welshman going to have the last 5 minutes of this game. Acuna and Jonathan Chan, really disappointing, but defensively it's been great. Ali with a man of the match performance at the moment, an 8.2 rating for him. There might still be a chance in this game, half a minute left. Manny and collects. Just boot it clear, my son. This is probably going to be game over, and this would be a really, really impressive historic result. To have lost to Manchester United 5-0 was embarrassing. Of course, we kind of, I guess, redeemed ourselves somewhat by beating Manchester City by the same scoreline. But to win 1-0 here at home is just, I can only praise our players. Yes, we've capitalised on a mistake. Yes, it's been gifted to us. But we went toe-to-toe with Manchester United in this game. Possession, 51 to 49%, pretty much 50-50. We had more shots. They committed more fouls. They were the team under the cosh towards the end of the game, and they didn't create any clear-cut chances. And, well, it was a combination, I guess, for us of not the greatest attacking performance, but making the most of the opportunity that came our way, but also defending very, very well indeed. And you can see here, Ali, man of the match performance, not surprising whatsoever. He had a very, very good game indeed. And for a player who, well, doesn't enjoy big matches and isn't the most consistent performer, that is a very pleasant surprise indeed. Anyway, guys, in terms of when we'll be back next time, it will be for those games against Chelsea and Arsenal, two massive games in the context of our season. The win today does kind of give us a nice 6-point cushion onto Manchester United, which can only be a good thing, but we're going to be looking to extend that cushion on the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal, who are hot on our heels in those upcoming games. Between then and now, easier games, I guess you'd say, against Watford in the league and then Sunderland in the Cup, but realistically, my eyes have got to be on the Premier League prize. We're some way off the pace of Manchester City, who are still 5 points ahead of us. But, well, with the form that we're in, beating the likes of Manchester United, drawing to Liverpool last time out, I'm hoping we can really start to grind out some good little results. And, of course, Arsenal, we previously beat 3-0. Anyway, that's going to be all from me. Thank you so much for watching, as always. Really do appreciate your support on this series. Great result for us once more. I will see you guys next time for a live com doubleheader. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.